am new to X39. I started the patch in December, I think it was December 30th of 2022. So very, very new. What was going on prior for me? Um, I had frozen shoulder, had that for about 10 years. Plantar fasciitis, I think I've been dealing with that for at least 18 years. And low energy overall, just really tired at the end of the day. You know, I have two children, have a family, busy at work. So just, really tired a lot of the times, wanting to go to bed at least by 8:30. Sometimes that's challenging to do, when you're handling a family life, but, I'm just zapped at the end of the day. Was introduced to the patches by Ella Mall, who's connected to Lemuria. And she actually talked to my partner about it. And then we all started the patches at the same time. When I started the patches, 1 week in, I noticed a difference in my energy level. And, it was very subtle at first, but then I noticed, man, it's 9 o'clock and I'm not exhausted. I was able to interact with my children, interact with my family, actually stay up a little later and not feel so drained. So that was the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed, went to work out, and usually I have a lot of soreness the very next day. And I noticed that I wasn't as sore as I usually am when I work out. As it relates to my shoulder, right away I could tell that the stem cells were attacking this area because it became sore. But I do have better range of motion in almost less than a month in that area. So I'm able to raise my arm all the way up past my head.
And before that, where did you raise your arm to? Where it was?
Yeah, almost shoulder length, but it was tight after that. So then I would have to force it up. And so now I don't have to do that anymore. So that's
Great.
yeah. So I can just raise it up. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. As it relates to my plantar fasciitis, that was exacerbated years ago when I did Zumba. So I have a lot of scar tissue there. And so I noticed the stem cells were actually working there, a lot of energy moving there because it's still really sore. So that's a work in progress, and I'm looking forward to, that healing for sure.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about your 12-year-old son.
absolutely. So my 12-year-old son also started X39 December 30th, 2022. Just a little background on him. He was diagnosed with ADD, attention deficit disorder, from kindergarten on. Um, he, um, really lacks focus and inattention, has some impulsivity. Uh, and so the things that we tried early on, we enrolled him into Brain Balance when he was in the second grade. And that program helps to alleviate right or left brain dominance and kind of brings your both hemispheres into alignment. We restricted his diet under that program, removed dyes, milk. He was gluten free, dairy free, of course, and we limited screen time. And we saw some results from that program, but he still lacked focus. We kept hearing from the teachers that he just wasn't able to keep up with his work, keep up with the classwork, and they accommodated him in many different ways, but we still had to, work with him to keep up with schoolwork. And so, and he was redirected a lot in the classroom by the teacher, and also by us at home. A lot of the times when he came home, we noticed he had a whole lot of classwork that had not been completed. And we also had to keep up with his homework. And a lot of the times, even now, well, even before the patch, we would ask him, hey, do you have homework? And he would always say no. And then we would find out later that he was behind on his homework and he had many missing assignments. So there was a lot of work on Kathleen and I's part to try to make sure that he kept up with that work. So then he started the X39 patch. And About a week in, he came home one day and he said, "Mommy, I have homework." And, I probably wasn't present. It didn't register for me. And I said, "Oh, okay." So he started doing it. I didn't think anything of it. The very next day, he came home and he said, "Mommy, I have homework." And I said, "Really?" I said, "What classes do you have homework in?" And he says, "Well, I have English, I have social studies, and I have math." And I broke down at the table and I just cried. I mean, it was the very first time that he has even recognized that he had homework, that he was even interested in doing his homework. And it was overwhelming for me. It still is when I think about it. We are extremely grateful for this technology. I truly cannot say what a miracle it is for us because it requires so much work on our part.
This changed your life. Your child is coming back. I know that you shared with me that usually getting ready for school, that he had to be reminded to brush his teeth, to put on clothes, deodorant, different normal things. And now he's just knowing what to do. He's even making his bed, things that he just never did before. So, and not even 3 months, your child's life is turning around.
I mean,
Correct.
Beamy, it hasn't even been a month. It will be a month,
A month.
January 30th.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it feels like a miracle. We are so grateful to Miss Ella Mall, to Lemuria for being the conduit, and for the inventor, David Schmidt, for making this available and making it affordable.